Good afternoon, everyone. We can start the technical session 2 in few minutes.
Eswaramoorthy sir. Sir, unmute பண்ணுங்க sir உங்க mic.
Hello, Professor.
Yes, sir. Sir,
Good afternoon, Professor.
Good morning, good morning. Happy to see you.
Same here, Professor.
Thank you, thank you. Are in Mufti? Why you didn't go to college, sir?
No, in office only.
Office only. So
Yes,
you see, in my office, I am.
Okay.
So that is what everybody would like to work abroad.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Now, or otherwise, we have to put all this to show ourselves, or otherwise. Then how is your family and everything?
All good, Professor. Everybody good. All doing good.
Thank you. Okay. Okay, madam. Shall we start, madam?
Yes, sir. Definitely, sir.
Yes.
So, welcome, sir. Welcome for the session, sir.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, one and all. I welcome you all for the technical section 2. Enter with a happy heart. May all who enter as guests leave as a friend. I happily invite Mrs. T. Merlin Usha, Head of the Department of Commerce PG, to deliver the welcome address and introduce the chief guest.
A warm good afternoon to one and all present here. I take this immense pleasure in welcoming you all for the technical session 2 of the International Conference on Business Intelligence conducted by the Department of Commerce, VLB Janaki Ammal College of Arts and Science. I would like to extend my hearty welcome to our principal, sir, Dr. K. Ramamurthy, sir, for this technical session 2. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, madam.
It's my privilege in extending a cordial welcome to the honorable resource person of this session, Dr. Eswaramoorthy Rangaswamy, sir, Principal and Provost, Amity Global Institute, Singapore. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Our resource person holds a PhD in management and also has degrees in Master of Business Administration, Master of Commerce, Master of Philosophy in International Business. He has also graduated from Cardiff University, UK, with MSc, Skills and Workforce Development. He is also an Associate Fellow of the Higher Education Academy, UK. He holds more than 20 years of experience with high teaching ratings from students over 48 different countries. He has taught for University of Northampton, Anglia Ruskin University, University of London, London School of Economics, UK, Victoria University, Australia, and Badir University and Vishwesvaraya Technological University, India. He is also a member of the panel of international experts for IMD Executive Opinion Survey. Adding feather to the crown, Sir has received several awards and accolades, namely Top Academic Staff Award from University of London, Best Teacher Award from Queen Mary University of London, UK, Outstanding Teacher Award from University of Northampton, United Kingdom. Overall, he has achieved a high ranking for educational leadership, lecturing, teaching, and curriculum design and research initiatives. We are highly blessed to have such an eminent exponent amongst us. Thank you, sir, for being here. Once again, I take immense pleasure in welcoming you all for this session. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma. Once again, I join with all of you in welcoming my good friend, Dr. Eswaramoorthy Rangaswamy, to this session. And at the same time, I thank him for having accepted our invitation and come over here to share some of his views. Thank you very much, Professor.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
A scientist said, the very best way to send an idea is to wrap it up in a person. The idea of divine respect was wrapped up in a person. I would proudly welcome Dr. Eswaramoorthy Rangaswamy, Principal and Provost, Amenity College Institute, Singapore, for the special address.
Thank you. Can I share my screen? You can see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
I'm audible, so we can start.
Yes, sir. Sure, sir.
Thank you. So, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. So when I think a few weeks back, Professor Dr. Eswaramoorthy sir spoke to me asking about whether I can be a keynote speaker in this international conference on business intelligence. We discussed about the various topics, what we intend to actually cover in this next 60 minutes or so. Subsequently, the head of the department, Dr. Sulekha, also spoke to me. So we were discussing about what best would be suitable for the audience of this particular conference. So I know that we have mostly the audience, mostly are students, academic colleagues, and some of the industry people around. So I thought that it's important for you to actually have a perspective, business intelligence perspective on what type of skills that are needed in the present scenario, in the future, and for the digital economy. So then we agreed on this topic. So that's what we are going to be, you're going to hear from me for next 45 minutes to 1 hour. Okay. So when you look at the topic itself, the business intelligence, so if you actually Google and see what are the business intelligence trends, you have something which talks about top 6 intelligent trends, business intelligent trends, top 40 intelligent business skills. There are many things which you will be able to find out. But this particular source, DataPine, actually talks about the business intelligence trends, which is more towards the data side of it. So especially if you are actually coming from a background of accounting, commerce, of business, economics, then the sense of what data actually makes is actually very important. So you need to understand that the business intelligence is evolving itself over a period of time. So what we are looking at now, what is your conference is all about? What is the topic which we are going to discuss is about the business intelligence trends in 2022 and beyond. Actually. So the slide shows very clearly, you need to know that that there is something on AI, artificial intelligence, there is something on big data, so which has been split here. It talks about data security, data discovery, data quality management, data literacy, real-time data analytics. You see a lot of data coming in. That is nothing but big data. So the various aspects of big data has been split up here. So how you're actually going to use data to make decisions, predictive analytical tools, prescriptive analytical tools. So all those things come in now. So especially there is something on collaborative BI, which is happening now, real-time data analytics, embedded analytics, automation. So this is what we are actually moving towards in 2022. So I would say that all of the audience should actually be aware of what is happening in the business currently and what has actually happened or what things have been accelerated because of COVID. So we need to be mindful of that. Okay, so if you want to know about the future, you need to know about the past also, what has happened previously. Okay, so let me actually take you through the past. Okay, so the world is now witnessing the 4th industrial revolution. Some of my learned colleagues will even say that we are witnessing 5th industrial revolution also, but let's actually see the academic version, which is actually 4th industrial revolution. So if you look at the first industrial revolution, you should have studied this in your bachelor's or master's, first semester, second semester, where you talk about the industrial revolution part. Okay, so the mechanization, water power, steam power, this all happened somewhere in 17th century, 18th century. That is actually the first industrial revolution. Subsequently, the second industrial revolution happened somewhere in 1910, 1920, where we talk about mass production, assembly line, electricity and all. So you should have known about Fordism, Henry Ford, scientific management. All those things happened somewhere in the second industrial revolution. Then the third industrial revolution happened somewhere in 1980s, 1970s and 80s, late 70s and 80s, where computer came in, PCs came in, personal computers came in, automation started off at a drastic level. So that is about the third industrial revolution. The fourth industrial revolution started somewhere when internet actually started making waves. So they call this as cyber special, cyber physical systems. So it is a little bit special because it actually changed the way the business actually worked. Okay, so that was in 1990s actually. So 1990s onwards, things changed. So we are now in somewhere in the fifth industrial revolution, or the fourth industrial revolution has actually reached the peak. So already we are in talks about 5G and all. So this is all happening now. Okay. So with the fourth industrial revolution, you need to understand that the way business is operating has changed. The way business is actually working has changed. So instead of normal economy, we talk about something called digital economy. So the digital economy, the technology things, the internet has actually changed the way the business has been operating. And especially with due to COVID, things have changed. The digital economy has actually skyrocketed. It has gone up in a vertical pace. So Davis ETL 2019 so highlighted that Southeast Asia, I'm talking about the place where I come from, that is Singapore. So we are part of Southeast Asia. You're in South Asia. So highlighted that I will give examples about Southeast Asia and then also some Indian examples or South Asian examples. So the Davis 2019 highlighted that Southeast Asia economy, where the ASEAN countries, Association of Southeast Asian Countries, there are 11 countries. Okay, Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, Brunei, Cambodia, Laos. These are the few big economies, I would say, including Myanmar. Okay, so 2019, it was a different one actually. So the economy was actually going at a decent pace. Remember, 2019 is pre-COVID period. So from 2016, $100 billion to 2025, within 10 years, they have estimated that to be $300 billion. So meaning is actually it is growing threefold. But in an economy like Southeast Asia, post-COVID, things changed. It actually went up in a very, very drastic pace. Why this is actually happening is technology is helping the quality cost revolution. So that means the quality, if you want to increase with technology, the subsequent you say units is actually marginal cost. I'm giving you an example. So if I have to manufacture 10 units, I have to pay $10 per unit. If I have to manage, if I have to actually manufacture 100 units, it doesn't need to be $10 each. It will be even $1. So the marginal cost is what is something going to play because of technology. So that is where the digital economies are making life crucial. So you guys have to be very, very clear that this is what the place you are going to live in. Okay, so if you look at the internet economies, the digital economies in Southeast Asia, Malaysia, Thailand, Singapore, Philippines, all these are growing 20 to 30% annually because of COVID situation. So let's look at what is happening in India, so where you are actually sitting from, which makes more sense for you. India could be $1 trillion digital economy by 2025. So the economy in India, you can expect the digital economy to shoot up very, very high. So figures in 2019, it was only $200 billion. But now 2025, they are expecting it to be $1 trillion digital economy. Imagine, again, this is actually pre-COVID. The estimates are pre-COVID. So after COVID, you know that things have actually gone at a rapid pace. So you have to look at the Indian digital economy is transforming at a rapid pace, which is 5-fold increases. You will see within next 2 years, 3 years, there are a lot of opportunities with AI, startups, blockchain, drones, all those things. The emerging technologies will be actually featuring over next 2-3 years actually. So as a student, as somebody, a stakeholder in the economy, I expect, we all expect you to actually be comfortable in these type of skills. Okay, so just to give a little bit more data about how the digital economy is happening in India. India is actually second fastest digital economy among the leading economies in the world. So there is a report called Country's Digital Index, which actually measures 30 different metrics, and they actually look at the digital adoption of 17 economies. These 17 economies are mature and emerging digital economies. So we have Brazil, China, Indonesia, Russia, South Korea, Sweden, US, all this put together. So they are looking at the mature and also emerging digital economy, and India is actually the second fastest digitalizing economy. So they are expecting somewhere around 55 to 60 million workers in India's future digital economy by 2025. So that means, so students who are in your year 3 or masters, you are expected to be part of this particular workforce in next 1 year. So if you are in a year 1 first year degree student, then you are also part of this actually. So that's where the awareness about digital economy, how fast it is growing, the skills that is required, all those are very important for a student, for the students. Let me just give an example. So something related with Singapore, from where I come from, and something is happening in India. So you should have heard about this particular merger or acquisition which has happened last couple of years. That was the hot discussion topic, which is about DBS Bank. So DBS Bank is a Singapore's bank. DBS Bank. It used to be a traditional bank. Okay, so why I say I use the word it used to be a traditional bank is DBS Bank is now more like a digi bank. So it is actually a digital bank, and they wanted they can actually rely on technology, invest a lot on the business model where technology helps to improve the quality with a competitive cost. So they have invested a lot on that. So I can tell you that within a very short period of time, DBS Bank in India was able to actually get 2.5 million customers in a very short period of time. So what they do is actually they have adopted an inside-out model where they believe they worked on their inner strengths and capabilities. So what they did was actually they leveraged on the digital capabilities. They made sure that they offer a best-in-class banking experiences in all whatever physical touch points. They try to scale it to the digital platforms. That is what they did. So meaning is actually, so you have a DigiBank app of DBS Bank, you will be able to actually access all banking related services that any bank would actually offer in a very convenient plus also very low cost model with high quality aspect. So this particular bank wanted to actually move much faster in India. So what happened was, see, DBS is more towards a digital bank. It is someone who is actually very good in digital economy. So what they did was they went on to acquire the LVB, Lakshmi Vilas Bank in India. Of course, Lakshmi Vilas Bank is actually very big. They have a sizable branch network in India. That is what DBS was actually eyeing in. So it is not that DBS is someone who actually buy a bank in only India. So we have a history. DBS has a history. This is the Singapore bank has a history of taking over banks in Hong Kong, Taiwan, all those, or similar acquisitions of larger banks. So I gave this example to you now because what you are seeing is the initial thing, what is actually happening in digital economy. So in digital economy, you will see that such type of mergers, acquisitions will all happen. Meaning is actually your business becomes borderless. Your customers are everywhere. Your suppliers are everywhere. Your distributors are everywhere. That is what is the life we will be looking at it. Okay, so in this particular scenario, what type of skills somebody should actually have? So you may ask me a question, oh, okay, digital economy, I understand. It is actually it's going to be the future. So I have to be ready for that. Then you may ask Dr. Murthy. So people call me in Singapore as Murthy. They can't pronounce my full name, Eswaramoorthy. So you may ask, Dr. Murthy, tell me, what should I know? What should I be capable of? So that particular question is what we are trying to address in the next 20, 30 minutes. So if you ask me what type of skills I need for next 5 years, let me actually talk about something else. Okay, so you have to think about what type of skills I need for next 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 50 years, like that. I would advise you, so if there is a possibility, please read this book, which you can see, The 100-Year Life. Okay, so this particular book is a very good one, which talks about 100 years of people living, actually. So the book says that if you are 20 years, okay, so if you are 20 years, so I think majority of the audience who are actually in this particular conference, so the student friends, would be somewhere in 20s. I will tell you that you guys will live 50%, at least 50% of you will live beyond 100 years because of changes in technology, pharmacy, medicine, all those things. At least 50% of people who are attending this meeting, okay, the 20-year-old kids or students, you will see 100 years. And if you're 40 now, so some of you may be 40 years, okay? So the lecturers or rather the master's people or those type of people, there is 50% chance of you living up to 95. So then look at it. In this particular case, will you sort of retire in 60 years? Next 40 years, do nothing? It is not going to happen. You cannot actually retire when you're actually 60. Because you will live up to 100 years. So when you plan your life for 100 years, you have to think about after 60 years, how am I going to be productive? Okay, how am I going to contribute myself? You have to earn money also to keep you living for a decent life for next 40 years. Okay, so that's what is going to happen. Okay, so I want you to start thinking about it. The book talks about further things. It also says that, okay, so the research actually says that if you're 15-year-old today, that means if you're 20 years, somewhere all our bachelor students or master students, okay, so you will actually go through at least a portfolio of 17 jobs in 5 different industries. So you may think that, hey, I'm a BCom student. I will be looking at something in accounting jobs only, or banking jobs only, or insurance jobs only. So remember, gone are the days where people actually, when they join a company, when they join a job, when they join an industry, they will be there till retirement. Those things are not going to be there. So what you are going to see is you will actually work in 17 different jobs and 5 different industries. For example, you will start in a banking sector. So banking industry, then after 3 years, you may jump into hospitality. From hospitality, you may jump into healthcare. From healthcare, you may jump into logistics, supply chain management. So there is every possibility that you will move into different industries. So if you are going to work, imagine that next 20 years, 30 years, you will actually look at 17 jobs and 5 different industries. Then think about what type of skills you need. You have to think about what type of skills I need so that I can actually do well in this 5 different industries and 17 jobs. That is where people talk about something called transferable skills, portable skills. There are certain skills which you can transfer from one industry to another industry, one job to another job. For example, you talk about communication skills, you talk about digital skills, you talk about interpersonal skills. These are some of the skills which you may use in different jobs, different industries. So you need to be good at certain type of skills which is transferable across different jobs. At the same time, you have to be good at certain skills which are specific to that particular industry, or the core skills that is required for that industry. So last time, 1970s, 1980s, in Singapore, we used to talk about skills like T skills, T, the letter T. So what is T is actually you're very strong in one core industry. That is your vertical line in that letter T. So then the horizontal line is you have to be good in the transferable skills, which can actually move into different places. Okay, so whether it is industry A, industry B, job A, job B, like that. But now what has happened is from T skills, we have moved into a situation called M skills. Okay, what is M? See, M, you see that. So today you're very good in one core area, core skills. Then you have transferable skills. Then after 5 years, you may go into hospitality logistics. So then there is something which you have to look at it. Then after 10 years, you may move into banking sector. So there is every possibility that you will go beyond T skills and now you look at M, the letter M. So that is what the life is going to be in future. So I would advise you, request you to be prepared for that, because at least 50% of you will be living 100 years and beyond. So meaning you have to work not till 60, maybe beyond, even 75, 80, like that. So what is going to happen is the work life is going to be multi-staged. So you will actually have skills. You have to look at your skills beyond the current employer and current sector. So you cannot actually think about only the job which you are doing, you're planning to do now, or the sector which you are planning to do or think about it now. So because things will change. For example, that sector may not be itself be alive in next 5 years, 10 years. The sector may be shaken totally because of technology. So you have to think or invest interest in the skills that you think that next 15 years, 20 years, 30 years, like that. So you have to look at what type of skills I have, which is transferable across, which is portable across industries and jobs. You have to start thinking like that. Okay, so with the concept of our working lives becoming longer, you need to understand that lifelong learning will increase. So you have to start thinking yourself as lifelong learner. So students, the academic friends need to tell the students that it is no longer once you complete your degree, once you complete your master's, that's all. You cannot think that you have acquired all skills to be ready for the job. Yes, definitely the bachelor's degree or master's degree helps you to be ready for the job. But remember, the job keeps changing. The industry keeps evolving because of the way the technology is changing over a period of time. So you need to be prepared for all these things. So what is happening? As I said, you may ask me, oh, okay, so how is skills changing? Is it every day, every month, every year, or every 10 years? It has been changing at a different or rapid pace. For example, if you see 1900s, if we are talking about 1900s, the knowledge and skill has been doubling every century. So that means previous 1800s, 1900s, the knowledge and skill took 100 years to actually double. 1945, so we are talking about something after the second industrial revolution part, where scientific management, Henry Foylism, all those things, administrative theory, all those things came in. So 1945, the knowledge started doubling every 25 years. 1982, that is when internet came, third industrial revolution. The internet came, all those things were there. So that part, 1980s part, computers, all those things were in. Knowledge starts doubling every 12 to 13 months. 1920, so we are talking about the decade which just ended. So 1920s, IBM predicted that knowledge is doubling every 11 to 12 hours. You need to understand that things are changing at a rapid pace. So all of us have to be ready for that. So we have to be a lifelong learners, also aware of what is happening to the skills, requirements, business, intelligence, everything. So based on that, we have to start working. So let me just give you a data which was published by World Economic Forum, okay, which talks about the skills disruption. So it actually says that there is 35% of the core skills have changed in 2015 to 2020. So now you look at the industry-wise sectors, like, for example, you talk about financial services, investors, it is actually 43%. Basic and infrastructure is 42%. Mobility is 39%. Infocom, IT is 35%. You can see things are changing at a very, very rapid pace. So the skills, what is needed in each of the sectors are changing a lot. Okay, so I give an example. So for you can ask your teachers or even somebody whom used to work in accounting field 30 years before, 20 years before. So before 20 years, 30 years, there used to be a job called bookkeeping. Okay, so there is something in accounting so called bookkeeping. So then there was a package called Tally. So you would have been studying part of your course, or you may have studied outside also. There is a package called Tally. So when this package, not a very good package, it is not an ERP, enterprise resource planning, it is not SAP or Oracle financial style. It is not like that. It is a very, very simple software package, Tally. When it came to India, just within few months, few hundred thousands of bookkeeping professionals or bookkeeping accounting people, so called accountants, this particular people lost their jobs. Just a very simple software package, okay, called Tally. When it came in, everything changed. So that is how the skills are going to be disrupted. And I just gave you an example where you would be able to relate it. You ask your accounting teacher, you ask your finance teacher, so they'll be knowing that how Tally has disrupted. Okay, so you ask your principal, so he may know that actually. Last time bookkeeping was different. Okay, so if you look at the country wise, so you can see there are certain countries, the average disruption is 35%. But countries like Italy and India, it is actually at a rapid pace. It is 42%. China, Turkey, all those things are even closer. So you need to understand that things are actually changing at a rapid pace. The skills which is needed is actually changing. The technology is growing. So the future jobs is starting to evolve. So you guys have to be prepared for that. That is what is crucial here. You may ask a question. So say, Dr. Murthy, I've been talking about technology taking over. So can you tell which are the jobs that technology will take over? The probability of robots taking over jobs in next 20 years. Okay, so the score 1 is certain. Certain means definitely it will take over. The robots will actually take over. Telemarketers, okay, it is going to be 0.99. So you will actually look at, there is nobody called telemarketer after 20 years. So even now you don't have. Okay, so people who are a little bit comfortable, website, all those things, you know that there is something called chat box. So the chat box, you can actually use AI to develop chat box. You can even develop it. So you don't really need to have somebody outside, a human being, to tell you what you want. For example, I will tell you this DBS Bank. So I have my account there. I have my credit cards there. So, you know, in credit cards, you should have something called annual fees. So every year you have to pay fees. But what happens is you can request for waiver for that particular fees. So what we need to do is in the DBS DigiBank, so we log in and then there is a chat box coming in. So then we say that I'm seeking waiver. So you type waiver, automatically it asks you what waiver you want. You want credit card annual fee waiver or credit card charges for waiver or interest waiver. So it gives all options. Then whatever you ask, then you feed the information then automatically it decides, and then it tells you, okay, so it is waived off go. It hardly takes less than a minute, and I'm actually talking to the machine. Similarly, if you look at the digital, all the banks in Singapore, you will see there is a counter outside. It is actually a sort of a cubicle where you go in and you talk with the machine. So the machine actually settles things for you. That is what is actually happening across. And you will see that you will not have any telemarketers at all. So in case your friends are doing telemarketing jobs, ask them to find a good job or upgrade their skills. You forget about the BPO things, which is going to last for a few years. It will not last for a few years. So of course, you're technical, it is a different story. Okay. So similarly, accountant, auditors, you have to evolve yourself. If not, then gone are the days that bookkeeping things, you will have a lot of accountant people there. It's not going to be there. There are a lot of ERP packages taking over things. Same applies with retail salesperson, because you see that there are a lot of online sales been happening. So you don't really need a retail salesperson there. So look at how it is going to have an impact on real estate, all those things. So you can have a look at it. These are the areas where you will see that the job and skills disruption is going to have. Okay, so of course there are areas like dentist. Okay, I don't want the dentist, a robot to be a dentist who actually do something on my teeth, open my mouth and do something. That's not going to be happening. So the robot replacing will be actually not there. But of course, the other areas, what you're seeing here will definitely have an impact. Okay, so these are 4 ways the jobs will actually respond to automation. So you can see that one is actually based on the degree of threat to the core skill set and degree of threat to the value from which you actually get. So if you look at, these are the jobs, okay? So the core skill set is going to be affected is, for example, accountant, a real estate agent, fast food server, all those are going to be affected. So these jobs, the skills are highly standardized and the consumers will still like the way the value is delivered. So this is disrupt jobs. So you look at the other, just opposite one, deconstructed jobs. The skills will remain same, but the way we deliver will actually change. You talk about your college professor, your college teacher. So of course, the teaching is always there, but with COVID, what has happened is we started doing things in a different way. So it is no longer face-to-face teaching. It is no longer the teacher have to rely on chalk and board or something. It is a lot of technology there. We have to sort of evolve ourselves because the value delivery is shifting. Of course, a teacher is always a teacher. The skill remains same, but the way we deliver the value changes. That means you have to evolve yourself. If not, you will have a problem. Similarly, you will see there are jobs like displays. These jobs are going to be obsolete. You talk about the toll taker, so pharmacy, librarian. So all these are going to have an impact. Technology will replace them. Okay, so library, you know that there are a lot of online libraries, e-libraries there. So the physical libraries are no longer, you don't have people going and visiting, especially with you know, the internet penetration, the gadgets, everything, things have changed a lot. Okay, so everything is actually digitalized. So the role of librarian, even toll taker, all will actually change. Okay, so you know, even you travel in national highways in India, you see the toll taking things are changing because of technology. You don't need to pay cash actually. You use the card and do things there. So you will see that all those jobs are going to be displaced sooner. The durable jobs, certain jobs will always be there forever. For example, you talk about electrician, plumber, physician assistant. So these type of jobs will be there because it is very costly and difficult to automate. So these are how the jobs will actually respond to automation. So you need to know how things are changing, evolving. Okay, so if you ask me what are all the technologies I have to be aware of, I will tell you that technologies are evolving over a period of time. It is not actually something I can say, hey, this is what you have to study. This is what you have to be equipped with, because it itself is actually changing. So what 1990s, year 2000, we talk is about internet, then social media, mobile computing, cloud, big data. We are talking about big data now, 2022, but you can see the one here, 3D printing, renewable energy, IoT, cognitive system, drones, AR, augmented reality, virtual reality, all those things are going to be something which you are seeing. So next 5 years, by 2025, you will see that these things are quite common. In Singapore, drones are very common actually. So in fact, you want to actually order few things. The ships, Singapore is an island actually. The ships, if they want to order something, the drones actually help. Similarly, the securities are all taken care by drones actually. So that's how things actually work. So you will see that this is all going to be the norm, the way business operates in next 3 years, 5 years. Don't think that India is far behind. India is all very, very fast in these things. So these things you have to look at it. Same applies with other technologies like vertical farming. Lab grown meat is very famous. So last 2-3 years, Singapore has stepped up a lot on lab grown meat. Okay, so you will have chicken, but it is all grown. It is not. It's a vegetarian meat grown. Exactly, taste, health, protein, everything is like the normal chicken meat, but it is all lab grown one. All those are going to be the future, which is happening already. Okay, geoengineering. So there are many things which you need to look at. Genetic engineering, all. Okay. So flying cars, all those already has started. These are 40 key emerging technologies which you may need to actually have a look at it. Okay, so you see that the digital side, biotechnology side, advanced material side, energy and energy environment, all those things you need to look at it. Digital side, if you look at it, we talk about cloud computing, blockchain, modeling, simulation, gaming, AI, IoT, big data. So these are the things we are covering, but these are other areas which you may want to look at it. Okay, so bioinformatics, stem cells, these are all areas, things are actually changing. Advanced materials, nanos, all those energy side will also be something which you have to look at it in future. So these are something that 40 key emerging technologies. So business intelligence part, the very first one I was telling you about few trends. Let me just take 2-3 of that and then spend a little bit more time on that particular part. AI. You may have heard about this buzzword AI, artificial intelligence, quite often last 1, 2, 3 years actually. Let me just give a little bit of glimpse of that. So AI is being loosely used, but you need to understand that it is much, 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 much bigger actually. So Google CEO Sundar Pichai once said in an interview that AI is bigger than electricity or fire. Okay, so why electricity or fire? When electricity was invented or found, when fire was discovered, so it actually changed the way the human beings lived. It has fundamentally, or it potentially has, AI has potential to change the fundamentals, the way we have been doing things. So you are actually in that particular time. You are living in the period where AI is actually starting to show the glimpses of what it can actually do. So you guys have to be mindful of that. If not, then like what I said earlier in one of the slides, your jobs will be displaced. So you need to be very, very careful. So it is not only Sundar Pichai. So there is another evidence which talks about, so this was a study done by Hayes and WeWork. So they did sponsor a C-suite executives research in Asia Pacific region. So that is Asia and also North America, South America put together. So they did C-suite, the C-level people, CEOs, vice president, those type of people. So they did a research about how AI is actually influencing, interfering their workplace and employees' demand for flexible environments. So the result actually said that CEOs say that you have to either adapt or die. So the culture of the company is going to change, will succeed if they are digitally competitive. So they say that 64.7% of the CEOs say that they are accelerating themselves on automation and AI. In fact, 40.5% of them see that there is a massive increase in last 1 year. So they are saying that things are moving at a rapid pace. So AI is something which you guys have to look at it, see how you can leverage on that technology part. Okay, so let me just share a book. So this particular book, AI Superpowers China, Silicon Valley, and the New World Order. This is a very good book which talks about, gives you an idea about AI, how China is trying to do things using AI. Okay, digital enables replication and distribution at near zero marginal cost. I was telling you that technology helps you. Okay, so last time you want to manufacture 100 units, cost of manufacturing 1 unit is $1. So that means $100. So when you manufacture 1,000 unit, is it going to cost $1,000? No, it will cost only $110. So what happens is the replication or distribution is going to be near zero marginal cost. So that is what is actually happening. So you talk about Netflix, you talk about Amazon, so all Amazon Prime, so all those people, what is it? Their marginal cost, okay, so distributing it across the houses is almost zero. So that's the reason they are able to actually give you at that particular cheaper price, but superior technology part. That is what is going to happen everywhere. Okay, and things are changing. So China is someone who is actually doing very well in the AI part. So they have moved the AI into something called general purpose technology. So you need to understand what is general purpose technology and specific purpose technology. So when you do, when you work on technology part, you need to understand that when it is general purpose technology, it can be used in different industries. For example, you talk about chips. You know, you talk about chips. The chips can actually be used in different places. It can be used in your watch. It can be used in computer. It can be used in TV. It can be used in remote. It can be used in helicopter. It can be used in airplane. It can be everywhere. So you need to understand that AI, China is making it as GPT, general purpose technology. So that is how life is going to be in future. Okay, so if you want a little bit more about AI, I can say that there are 4 waves in AI. Okay, the first 2 waves we have already crossed: Internet AI and Business AI. So Business AI is what you guys are seeing now. Internet AI, for example, a little bit of the village or rural part of the world, or some villages may have started with Internet AI. But if you look at the other developed markets, you can see that Internet and Business AI has already hit very well. The third wave, which we are now in, is actually Perception AI. So it actually helps us to understand the physical world, all those, how you interact, all those things. Perception AI is there. The last and final wave, what we are going through, is autonomous AI. Self-driving cars, autonomous drones, intelligent robots, all those things are now happening a lot. Okay, so I will tell you that in Singapore, there is a public university called Nanyang Technological University where we have self-driving buses. So there is no drivers. Driverless buses are very common. Drones, autonomous drones have already started now in Singapore. So these intelligent robots all are going to be part of it. So a country like Singapore, the autonomous AI, we have started embracing and we have started seeing the fruits of that. So you need to understand that a country like India, where you are sitting and listening to this particular talk, you will see that another 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, this is all normal. And at that point of time, what type of skills you need, you have to look at it. So I was telling you in the very first slide about there are a lot of things about data, which is something in the business intelligence part. So you need to understand that data is actually changing the way we are actually working. So companies that are able to manage their data with data strategies, they will have a superior advantage over their peers and competitors. So that is the reason there is a lot of discussion on big data now. So you need to actually look at how to use this big data leverage on that. Okay, so I'm just giving you this slide tells you about how the data actually has multiplied the way things are actually. So 2015 and 2020, you can see that we are now somewhere in 1 GB. So things are actually changing. So you need to understand that you have to look at it. So this is my last slide. So look at the learning skills or learning tools, what you have to look at it, the top 200 tools in 2018. So this I took 2018, which is pre-COVID period. So So after COVID, things have changed a lot. The way you have to learn, there is a lot of changes happening. So I would suggest just go Google 2021 learning tools and then see how is it. Use each of that. Most of it are free. Try to actually learn, keep upgrading yourself. Okay, so as I said earlier, it's very important for you. You are going to live, at least 50% of you will actually see 100 years. So start embracing lifelong learning. So start thinking, don't start looking at my next job. Of course, that is important, but at the same time, start looking at you are going to work in 5 different industries, 17 jobs. If that is going to happen, what type of skills I need? Start looking at what is the environment shaping up. The environment is actually changing, digital economy, technology is changing at a rapid pace. So then based on that, start working on your skill sets. That is what I would say to you. Thank you very much. I'll be happy to take questions.
Thank you very much, Professor. Excellent presentation.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Students, if you have any doubts, you can make it clear now. This is a question session. If you have any doubts, you can make it clear.
You have my slide shows my email address. Also, you can join me in LinkedIn. So in case you have any questions, you can also always write to me. But you can ask me now.
If there is no questions, we can close. Isn't it?
Cultivate the habit of being grateful for every good thing that comes to you and to give thanks continuously. And because of all things have contributed to your advancement, you should include all things in your gratitude. I would happily invite Mrs. Shobna Sindhu, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce, to propose the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon all. I'm Dean, the great honor and privilege to propose the oath of thanks on his memorable occasion. I would like to thank our guest, Dr. Eswaramoorthy Rangaswamy, Principal, Provost, MIT Global Institution, Singapore, for enlightening us with his knowledge. Today, the session was full of knowledge and interesting things and gave a deep insight into the topic and also learned some of the interesting facts. Thank you, sir. And I would express my sincere thanks to the chairman, Thiru N. Suryakumar, sir. And next, I would like to express my gratitude to Mr. Jayashree Santosh ma'am, CEO and Secretary ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. And my sincere thanks to our beloved Principal Sir, K. Ramamurthy sir, for his granting a permission. Thank you, sir. And I extend my graceful thanks to our Head of Departments, Dr. A. Suleka ma'am, UG, and T. Marilyn Usha ma'am for the department faculty members and organize the conference in a grand manner. Once again, I thank one all present here in this Zoom meet. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am. This is the end of session 2, and session 3 will be started up from 2:55. You can join by 2:55 p.m.
Thank you.
So, you can join in the same link.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Eswaramoorthy sir.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Thank you. Bye. We will meet.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for being here, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.